this fine evening. A lot's been happening. Busy. It's a busy news week. How's everybody doing? I've been also watching the engagement that I've had on the videos I've been doing with regards to race issues in South Africa. The engagement is crazy, to say the least. Crazy in the sense of saying that my fellow white South Africans, you folks are all over the place. You're all over the place. But I'm not going to go into that right now. But I want to talk about the Democratic Alliance, which was the official opposition right up until, 2024? Was the election last year? Yeah, the election was last year. Which now they are part of the Government of National Unity. They sent a delegation to the swamp, Washington, D.C. D.C., baby. And there's been some noise about that, and some black folks upset about that, and the NC government upset about that. I'm going to respond to that and explain. I support the decision by the Democratic Alliance of going there, and I'm going to explain why. Stay with me. Yeah, folks, the time is 7:40 p.m. Eastern Time. So the Democratic Alliance brought a delegation to Washington, D.C. to, according to them, to set the record straight with regards to the claims that have been made by these liars, the AfriForum, to the United States government. And people are upset about that. And I don't understand why people are upset about it. I mean, you need to go look at the videos that I made earlier about with regards to this diplomatic respect between South Africa and the United States of America. And I did say that what is needed in this time is wisdom, number one. And number two, what is needed in this time is lobbying. And also what is needed is an ability to have conversations, and that those conversations don't have to be formal through formal diplomatic channels. Back channels are very important, because back channels is actually where the relationships are. And part of the failure of the African National Congress's diplomacy is their inability to effectively lobby Western governments. It's easier in the EU because the EU is closer to South Africa in terms of ideologically. But when it comes to the United States of America, especially when there's a conservative government in place, then it becomes very difficult because the NC is more. I mean, I would say it's a leftist government, so it would be on the ideological opposite of a Republican government. So, but what I would say that Black South Africans need to also decide what it is that they want. And I've said before that here, I'm not here to kiss anyone's ass. Here, I'm here to tell the truth. You need to decide what you want. Do you want a relationship with the United States of America, yes or no? Do you need the United States of America, yes or no? And to the latter question, I'd say yes, you need them. And therefore, if those questions are affirmative on both counts, then you need to leave your pride, put your pride aside when it comes to how to have conversations with these people, especially when these people think that you are oppressing white people in South Africa. Yes, they think that. We know that it's not true. We know that it's false, but they believe that. So now you can't have this meaningless outrage that I'm seeing here. What is this outrage going to achieve? What is it going to accomplish? Because because maybe part of the reason maybe why the Democratic Alliance is able to have a conversation with the Trump administration is because they are white. Why is that important? Because the allegation is that the South African government is mistreating white people. So it doesn't take rocket science to realize that if white South Africans come and talk with them, white South Africans who are not crazy like the AfriForum, they are more likely to have doors open and have a conversation. This is not to say they're going to convince them otherwise, but it's just common sense that when white people go there, they are more likely to have a hearing as opposed to the government that has been accused of oppressing white people. So I don't understand why are people just, you guys are just so ready to be outraged by everything. Let me tell you something. It's a similar situation with Vladimir Zelensky, for instance. You cannot be arrogant while you need people at the same time. You need these people, therefore swallow up your pride, suck it up, and let the people who can communicate with these people communicate with them. So for me, on my side, I'm not necessarily I'm not a fan of the DA. I'm not their supporter, and I don't foresee me supporting them in the near future. However, the difference between the Democratic Alliance and the far-right Freedom Front Plus is that they are more likely to give a more pragmatic and more realistic version of what's going on in South Africa than these extremists of the Freedom Front Plus and AfriForum. Those, for instance, if the Freedom Front Plus, for instance, had gone there, I would also have a problem, even though I don't have any power, no one has any power to prevent them. But a more center-right, center-left Democratic Alliance, they are more likely to give a version that is closer to reality than these lunatics of the AfriForum. And so this issue of being upset, why are you upset? The Trump administration is not talking to you. They're not talking to you. They are not talking to the South African government. They're refusing to meet you. So then what do you want, really? Because if they're not talking to you, are you upset that someone who is going to have access but won't lie, like the forum is lying, have access? Or are you afraid that if they talk to them and then there is some progress, they're going to get credit for it? What really is the issue here? I don't understand what the issue is. Because you need to choose your battles. You need these people. South Africa needs HIV funding from these people. There's a lot of stuff that you need them for. South Africa uses their the American financial transaction system called SWIFT, which if they remove you from it, you're not going to be able to do any transactions globally at all. So at every step of the way in terms of international commerce and international trade, you need these people. So then why are you so arrogant? We know that these people went there and lied about what's going on in South Africa. And we also know that the Trump administration, since they are pissed right now, they are not talking to the South African government. They are refusing any form of diplomatic engagement. But if these guys would have some hearing, why are you upset about that? Guys, like, it's at the end of the day, South Africans, you need to give up your right to be outraged by all these kind of stupid things. This thing of being outraged by everything and anything is just not helpful. What is needed right now is wisdom. Wisdom. Even though I don't know what the Democratic Alliance went there and said, and I'm pretty sure that I probably wouldn't agree with everything that they went there and said. However, I'm confident that they did not go there and blatantly lie like the forum is lying. They would have, I'm pretty sure the Democratic Alliance would have been very candid and very transparent about all the policy differences that they have with the ANC. But at the same time, they wouldn't go there and lie like the AFROAM has been lying about a white genocide that doesn't exist, lying about white South Africans being targeted for murder and whatnot in South Africa, which is blatantly false, lying about confiscation of land that is not happening. All of these tenets that the Trump administration is upset about are all just blatantly false, and all of them come from the lies of the AfriForum. And I'm pretty confident that even though the Democratic Alliance disagrees severally on a lot of these transformation policies, even land reform policies, they do not think that white South Africans are oppressed in South Africa, because they are not. So who else is actually fit and suited to go there and talk to these guys other than them? Who else? It's like, because the outrage is so stupid. It's like if there's an allegation, for instance, that Zulus are oppressing Xhosas in South Africa, and then say the Trump organization believes this version that Zulus are oppressing Xhosas, and then you have a Xhosa delegation which goes to the United States, which does not believe in these lies, but does not necessarily agree with the Zulus on everything. Are you going to be upset that they went there and they didn't tell you? Like, what is the point of your outrage, really? What does it accomplish? Because this meaningless pride and this meaningless arrogance, where is it going to take you? I'll tell you exactly where it's going to take you. It's going to take you exactly to where Zelensky is right now. Out in the cold, busy writing tweets to Trump in the middle of the night, busy begging him, because he went there to the White House and shat on himself and acted like an idiot. But now he's out here. Begging. I know that the South African government has had this stance of saying we are not going to be bullied. That is a meaningless statement. Okay, you're not going to be bullied, sure. Then what? You still need these people. I'm not saying that go there, grovel, but I'm saying that use every tool that is available to you to find middle ground with the Americans. And part of that is stop being outraged by meaningless shit like this. Stop it, really. So I really think that this trip by the Democratic Alliance, even though I wouldn't have agreed with everything that they probably said there at the White House, is very critical in actually giving the Americans a better understanding of what's going on, a more accurate understanding of as opposed to the lies of the AfriForum. So I'd like to hear what everyone else thinks about that. Like, I think for me, that was just like, it was just an easy thing for me to say, okay, sure, they went to the White House or down to Capitol Hill. It's probably a good thing for South Africa. And they don't need to get the government's permission to do this. No. Because I personally also, as a private citizen, if I had the relationships in Capitol Hill, I would be calling people and having coffee with them and having dinner with them, trying to let them understand the true picture of what's going on without needing permission from the ANC or from the ANC government. Guys, come on, stop this. Like, really stop this. It's childish. Firstly, it's really childish. Yeah, but anyways, that's my view. You can disagree if you want. Let's hear what your disagreement is on in the comment section, and maybe your agreement. But yeah, keep it friendly, keep it cordial. Comments below.